So recently I started taking the acne medication known as accutane, and in my last video I was joking about how there's apparently all these insane side effects that might happen to me, like hallucinations and dark thoughts. And at the time, I honestly just sort of assumed that that wouldn't happen to me, but now, oh well, how do I say this? I am no longer taking accutane for reasons that will become extremely apparent. Let me just start from the top. The first problem with taking accutane is that you have to actually acquire the accutane. Now, for those of you who don't know, the whole deal with accutane is that if a pregnant person takes it, it like turns the baby into a homunculus or something. So for that reason, they keep it under lock and key. Like, first of all, you need to get your blood drawn every month that you're on it, just to make sure your liver hasn't decided to euthanize itself. And on top of that, the dermatologist can't actually prescribe it at all until they get the blood results from the doctor. So I had to do that first, which is fine. I have no problem with needles. I do start giggling uncontrollably whenever they are inside of me, which is kind of interesting. But I digress. The real trouble is that I decided to get my blood drawn at my university's health clinic. Like, getting my blood drawn was fun, but then they were like, okay, yeah, we'll send it over to your dermatologist within a few days. 3 weeks went by. Nothing. No Accutane, no calls from the derm, so I went back and I was like, hey, guys, so what's the deal here? And the guy at the front desk was like, it literally just says processing here, bro. I can't do anything about that, bro. Like, okay, yeah, cool, so, thanks for nothing then. Okay, great, yeah. Get this, right? I did not believe that this man was telling the truth. So I went back the very next day to talk to a different employee. And lo and behold, she was like, oh shit, no, yeah, we got the fax number wrong. Sorry about that. Like, dude, the fax number? What is this, 1856? We live in the digital age. Get with the times, bro. Send it as a Discord attachment or something. But I did finally get my Accutane, which comes in this ominous box. It looks like an evil advent calendar. And this is where things started to get interesting. So the first thing Accutane does to you is this thing called purging, where, as I understand it, your skin basically fast forwards all the acne out of it over the course of a couple weeks. So that was not pleasant. Then my back started hurting like crazy. I felt like an old man. Like, come closer. I must tell you about the physiological side effects of isotretinoin capsules. Then the back of my hand started peeling off, which was insane and very painful. They were so scaly, I thought I was turning into a reptile for a minute there. But despite all of that, my acne completely cleared up, and it was fan-freaking-tastic. That is, until my monthly dermatologist checkup. I was like, dude, it's going awesome. It's going awesome. And she was like, okay, great. So we're gonna be doubling your dose now, okay? Okay, sweet. Wait, what? So I started taking twice the amount of Accutane. And at first, it was totally fine. But then one day, I sat down to do my homework. Wait a minute. This is not normal. I've been sitting here reading the same line for over 4 hours. Usually it only takes me 2 hours. I was tweaking out of my mind, rocking back and forth in my chair, muttering to myself, legs bouncing, eyes popping, in the public library, trying to focus on this shit-ass assignment. Like, come on! Wait, what's this noise? What's going on? Why are my thoughts so gloomy? Why do I feel so sad? So yeah, I basically went into a depressive spiral that continued on and off for several days. Honest review, it was so fun! I told the dermatologist and she was like, so yeah, I stopped taking that shit. I'm doing fine now, guys. Don't worry about me. I've had my share of mental health crises, so I was at least prepared for what to do in the case of such an event. But it was still pretty crazy. But anyways, I just have to add a disclaimer. that I'm not a doctor. I think Accutane works amazingly for a lot of people. I'm just like weird or something, so like take my experience with a grain of salt, you know? Maybe if I kept taking it, I could have had a full reptile transformation. I think that's what I was doing wrong, actually.
IV of attention in your veins. Come close, let me touch my cheekbones. What a shame that my shirt's full of red stains. My voice like honey in your drums. I glance in your